everyone, today I'm going to make a long overdue video. It is actually a product review of a palette that I hauled very recently, but I've had for a little while. I'll go ahead and link that haul down below in case you want to see some other things I've recently gotten. But it is actually the Tarteist Pro palette from Tarte Cosmetics. Excuse me. So this palette actually came out right around Christmas time, a little bit before, but it's not limited edition. It's not a Christmas palette. It was just the timing of it. And it does have 20 eyeshadows, 16 of which are matte, and yeah, 4 of which are really sparkly. So I'll go ahead and talk about that, let you know my thoughts. I actually got this for Christmas for my boyfriend, and I've used it a lot. So I really wanted to, I don't know, I feel like there's probably already a lot of videos out already. That was really redundant, sorry. There's probably already a lot of videos out telling you their thoughts or something, but I've used almost every single eyeshadow in this palette. I've used it a lot. I really have a good feeling for how I feel about it. So I wanted to kind of wait for y'all. So first of all, the packaging, it's really slim. It's pretty sturdy. It is a plastic. It's kind of a matte black with the gold, which is kind of a cute look. Really have nothing bad to say about it. And then you go, and the inside has a full mirror. They used the entire space of the palette to be a mirror, and it does stand up really nicely. I definitely use this mirror almost every day when I'm doing my makeup. I find it extremely helpful. So like, yeah, like right now I can just see my entire face, my hair, everything. So that's really helpful. The back of, what do you call it? The palette is also a metallic gold, so you might have a lot of glare, which doesn't really matter in the everyday to day, but for a video it's a little bit annoying. But you can see, they kind of have them grouped into sections. So we have like a really warm tone row, a purpley row, a pinky, like the cranberry shades that are super popular right now, and then a really neutral row, maybe slightly cool tone. So again, you've got like 16 matte shades and then 4 really sparkly glitter shades. You have like a cranberry, a gold, kind of a copper, and then this really pretty duochrome greeny shade. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch all of these and let you know. And also the names of it is printed on the palette, which I don't know why any brand doesn't do that, honestly. I mean, it's so much easier. So we have the shade Classic, which I have on my brow bone today. It is a nice, really light shade. It's got a little bit of yellow in it. Whoops. It works really nicely as a brow bone highlight. Again, these are all extremely matte. They're really buttery and creamy and very pigmented. Then you have the shade Innocent, which is kind of an orangey, it's a really nice crease shade. They kind of have it like a highlight, a crease, and then like a lid shade and then a dark shade if you want to do it that way. So they do kind of go incrementally darker. So you can see it's very orange. Like an orangey brown. It's really pretty. And then Whimsy is what I'm sure is a lot of people's favorite. It's like a beautiful rust. So creamy. So pigmented. Look at that. Like, you can't ask for a darker shade than that. It's gorgeous. Works beautifully in the crease. I find that most of these shadows blend out very nicely. A couple of them don't, and I'll get to them when I get there. This smoke shade, it does feel different. It's not as soft. The darker shades in general are not as creamy and soft, and they don't blend as well. So you can see that's the first row. I'm just going to do the rows, and then I'll do the glitters at the end. So that's the first row of all matte. Really pretty, very warm tone, kind of quad. Then we have Vintage, which is kind of similar to Classic, but it's more pinky, whereas Classic is more yellow. Again, it's a really nice brow bone highlight. You can tell that they are different shades, which might be more flattering for a certain skin tone if you have a very warm skin tone versus a very cool skin tone. I'm pretty neutral, so I just kind of switch it up based on my eye look. Like today, I used the Classic, but sometimes I use Vintage. I just kind of go back and forth. For me, they kind of do the same thing. I don't know that I need both of them, but they are both really pretty. Then you have this shade Fierce, which is this really pretty gray lavender shade. Again, so pigmented. Extremely pigmented, really pretty. It's very different. It's a neutral palette, but it's got kind of everything that you would want in it. Then you have No Filter, which is a much more purpley shade. It's kind of I don't know. It's just like a purple. But it's a little bit pink. It's really pretty. Again, it's a nice shade. It doesn't look super unique, but then when you try to compare it to the rest of your shadows, at least I personally found it's very unique. And then you have the shade Vamp, which is like really, really deep and dark. Almost a blackened purple. And this one, the pigmentation isn't the best. And it doesn't blend super well. You can build it up. But again, these deeper shades aren't as soft. But it is definitely a blackened purple. It's not just a straight black. So that's the purpley quad. Very pretty. And then what I think might be one of my most favorite, I don't know, I really like this palette, is the pinks. So we have Chic, which is kind of this weird pinky orange shade. It's very warm. It's kind of similar to my skin tone. It looks a little mauve. I don't know, it's really different. I feel like when you first look at this palette, you might think, okay, it's another neutral palette, but it's really unique. And I find that with the assortment of colors, but also the colors individually, they're just really unique. Then you have Profesh, which is like a gray pink. It is similar to Fierce, but it's not quite as dark. Again, I use a lot of these for the crease, and then, I don't know, you can definitely do a full matte look with this. You can mix warms and cools. You can do a lot. Then we have Mod, which isn't as soft as the others. It's a really, really pretty cranberry. It is quite pigmented. Again, these darker shades don't blend quite as nicely, but that one is very pigmented. The only one that I find I have trouble with pigmentation is Vamp. But, I mean, that's a cranberry, and again, it's really pretty. Slightly chalky, it's not as smooth and buttery of a formula as most of them. Then we have the shade Drama. Again, it's a darker shade, so it's not quite as smooth. And it's like a burgundy. It's a very brown tone burgundy. It's more pigmented than Vamp, but it does need a little bit more building up than some of the other shades where it's just like one swipe, super easy. So that's your pink shade. Your pink and your purple definitely go very well together. They mesh really nicely, but they're different enough. Like I said, the Fierce and the Profesh, these two, Fierce is darker, but they are kind of similar. Alrighty. Now we're going to go to the very last row. We have Indie, which is probably my most used shadow, if here. I use it a lot as a blending shade, just before I even put anything on. It's kind of a cool tone taupe. And it's just so pigmented and nice. It's hard not to use it. I grab for it a lot. Then we have Bold, which is very similar in tone, or with like shade, but it's orange. It's like a very orange, nice blending shade. It's very light, but it's not the same at all as Innocent. And it's just not. Like, it's not. Sorry, that's not very articulate, but it's different. And these are both really great if you just want to have something blended out in your crease before you even start your makeup look. I like to do that. And I love that. And then you have Edgy, which is really smooth, kind of chocolatey brown. Look at that. So much pigmentation. That one does have that creamy, nice formula, even though it is darker in shade. And then last is Punk, which I have a lot of trouble blending this one out. It is okay with the pigmentation, but it's hard to blend. But that's kind of what you would expect for deeper colors, and it does have that darker formula. So 5 of the 20 shadows have like, it's not a bad formula. It's still very workable, very blendable, not blendable, very buildable. And you just have to work harder to blend it out. But there's the mattes. And then we'll do the 4 metallics. A little here, I'll take off my bracelet right here. So we have Ethereal, which is this really pretty copper. Look at that. It's like liquid metal, honestly. One swipe, so much power, so much pigmentation. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Then we have the shade Glam, which is just kind of a really nice gold. It's almost a whitened gold. It's really light. It's not very like antiqued at all. Super shimmery, super sparkly. Sorry that the sun keeps going in and out. Can't really change the sun. Whoa, girl, come on back. There we go. So you can see, very sparkly. Then we have Minx, which is like a red. I do like this shade. However, I find I have a little bit, this needs to be built up slightly. Like I don't know. It like doesn't build on itself very well. So it's a little bit harder to work with. But it's gorgeous. It's a very red toned, super sparkly shade. And then for the last sparkly shade, we have Trendy, which is, for me, what caught my eye the most. This really pretty aquamarine shade. Kind of a duochrome. You can see it's got like the brownie red and then the really nice teal. So overall, I think this palette is amazing. I love it. I think it's got some really unique shades. I think the collection in it is really unique. I do not have any of the Tarteist. What is it? I know it's like the Tarteist something and the Tarte in Bloom. Tartelette. I don't have the Tartelette palettes. So I don't know if, you know, how that compares with this. But this is not super expensive. It's gorgeous. It's got a lot of bang for your buck. 20 eyeshadows, 16 of which are matte. A couple of them you have to work a little harder on blending. I did find that a couple of them also, like especially that mink shade, this really sparkly brown, they don't have the best lasting power, so you definitely want to use a really nice sticky base. But all in all, I love it. I don't know if that's the general consensus or not, but for me, I highly recommend it. It's not that expensive. I think you'll get a lot of use out of it. I definitely think I will. I think it's a great palette. It's very much a standalone palette. You can have everything in here. You got your mid-tones, your warm tones, your light tones, your neutrals, your deeps, your lights. Everything that you could want is found in this palette. You got a couple of sparkles just to kind of zhuzh it up. Obviously, if you like a lot of color, this is more neutral. But all in all, it's an amazing palette. I highly recommend it. Can't say enough good things about it. So I'll go ahead and link my my product review playlist down below in case you want to see my thoughts on other products. I do a lot of palette reviews. If you want to see me review something, go ahead and let me know. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me, and I'll see y'all real soon. Bye.